Hi, and welcome to the beautiful city of Kraków, the second city of Poland with over 800,000 inhabitants. And today, we will take a look at its tram network. For the history of the tram system in Kraków, we go back to 1882. In this year, the first Holstrom line was opened, initially on a 900mm narrow gauge. Similar to the tram system in Warsaw, also here Belgium has played a role in the development of the first lines. 1901 saw the introduction of the first electric trams in Kraków, and in 1902 the system had grown to 5 electrified lines. System expansion was a rare occurrence at that time, but was later forced through by the Austrian-Hungarian rulers. From 1913, Kraków dipped its toes in the world of standard gauge, with the first surge line opening in that year. After Poland got its independence in 1918, the country as a whole struggled financially for a while, so investment in its tram system took up to 1925 before it really kicked off. This went on up until the Second World War. During the Second World War, Kraków, and therefore the tram network, were relatively undamaged, except for a couple of bridges across the Vistula. This divided Krakow's tram system into two separate networks. During the occupation, the Nazis stole buses and cars from Kraków, making the tram the only viable way to move around the city. However, this was only if you were a German. After the Second World War, Kraków had to rebuild some parts, including the bridges, and it also used the opportunity to build a tram ring around the center, allowing for the narrow gauge tracks to be removed from the city center. This marked the end of the narrow gauge network in Kraków. The standard gauge network grew for a bit, especially towards the newer districts, but the remainder of the time under communist rule could be described in 3 words: lack of funds. It was not that there were no plans, but the gap between the ambitions and the actual funding was hard to close. There were even plans for a metro, which was never realized. After the fall of communism, the priorities changed, and the plan was made to upgrade the existing tram network. New trams were bought and second-hand trams were modernized and overhauled. Also the tracks were modernized, and a scheme was made to improve the network. This scheme got the name Kraków Fast Tram. This plan consisted of adding high-value pieces of infrastructure, like tunnels and viaducts, aimed to cut back travel times on the system for certain lines. Which brings us to the present day's network. This is the tram network of Kraków. It uses a 1435mm standard gauge and is electrified by means of 600-volt DC overhead wires. The total network is 97 kilometers in length and had 3 depots across the city. The network has a couple of impressive pieces of infrastructure as part of this Kraków Fast Tram scheme, one of which is the tunnel under the main railway station of Kraków, Kraków Główny. Another piece of infrastructure is this long viaduct across the railway station of Praszów. Let's now have a look at the lines. Sorry in advance for my pronunciation of some of the names, but come on, Poland, it is impossible for foreigners. Line 1, Salvator to Wzgórza Księżawickie. Line 2, Salvator to Cmentarz Rakowickie. Line 3, Krowocza Górka to Nowy Bieżanów. Line 4, Bronowice Mawe to Wzgórza Księżawickie. Line 5, Krowocza Górka to Wzgórza Księżawickie. Line 6, Cichy Kącik to Mawy Płaszów. Line 8, Bronowice Mawe to Borek Fajenski. Line 9, Miściejowice to Nowy Bieżanów. Line 10, Kurdwanów to Pleszów. Line 11, Czerwone Maki to Mawy Płaszów. Line 13, Bronowice to Nowy Bieżanów. Line 14, Bronowice to Miściejowice. Line 16, Bardoza, Kopiec-Wandy to Miściejowice. Line 17, dworzec towarowy to Czerwone Maki. Line 18, Krowocza Górka to Czerwone Maki. Line 19, dworzec towarowy to Borek Wałęski. Line 20, Cichy Kącik to Mały Płaszów. Line 21, Osiedle Piastów to Pleszów. Line 22, Borek Wałęski to Kopiec Wandy. Line 24, Bronowice Małe to Kurdwanów. Line 44, dworzec towarowy to Kopiec Wandy. Line 49, Tauron Arena Wieczysta to Nowy Bieżanów. Line 50, Krowocza Górka to Borek Wałęski. And finally, line 52, Czerwone Maki to Osiedle Piastów. So, I hope you do enjoy this video about Kraków so far. However, before we continue, I would like to ask you to leave a like to this video and subscribe to my channel. You will not miss any new video and it will really help me as well. Thank you. Let's now take a look at the rather interesting tram fleet. In comparison to my last video about the tram network in Vienna, where there were just 3 tram types, Kraków has a lot more types in its tram fleet. The oldest type in the fleet are the E1s with their C3 trader cars, the older versions of the E2s and C5s in Vienna. They are built under license by duewag by Simmering Graz Pauke. Speaking about Vienna, Kraków received these trams as second-hand model from this city. After some modernization, they were put into service from around 2004. The manufacturer duewag will also be a recurring theme here. As the second type we will discuss is the GT8S. Originally built in 1973, Kraków received them from 2009 and directly modernized them. They are bidirectional, which is needed to provide flexibility in case of construction works, and balloon loops are not available. Next up, as you may expect from an older Polish tram network, also here you can find the legendary Konstal 105Ns. In comparison to other cities, Krakow's Konstal 105Ns have one unique trick up their sleeves, as they operate in combinations of 3 cars in some occasions. Going back to duewag, we also have the N8 active in Kraków. They are built by MAN in cooperation with duewag. They were initially all bidirectional, but some were converted to unidirectional in an overhaul. And now we are going back to Krakow's and Vienna's tram relationship. The Rotax EU8N came into existence as E6 on Vienna's U6. Yes indeed, the old U1 line in Vienna, which is actually operated by glorified trams. After a rebuild of these E6s and adding a middle section, the EU8N started operation in Kraków from 2009. Kraków is also home to trams built by Bombardier. The first type is the NGT6, as part of the Flexity Classic family. Kraków operates 2 series of them, with the first series being built from 1999 and the second series from 2003. Kraków also operates more modern trams of Bombardier, with the NGT8. It was delivered to Kraków from 2012. Kraków has also a rather unique 5-car tram in its fleet, being built from multiple 105Ns. This is the 405N, delivered as prototype to Kraków by ProTram. It is the only 5-car tram in Krakow's tram fleet. Another prototype active in Kraków is the Duewag 126N, carrying the name Nevelo. After initial trials, Kraków got it back and it is still active in the city up to this day. Oddly enough, it is still sporting Duewag's livery, even though it is 10 years old. And yes, we are still not done with the types in this fleet just yet. The next type is Pesa's 2014N, a model derived from its twist platform, which we saw in the video about Częstochowa's tram system. The 2014N, nicknamed Krakowiak, is the longest type of the fleet, coming in at nearly 43 meters. As the name may suggest, it was built from 2014. And finally, we reach the end of this rather impressive lineup. The Stadler Tango, nicknamed Lajkonik. The first batch consisted of 50 trams, being delivered from 2019. A second order for up to 60 trams was placed later on, of which 35 are firm orders, and 25 are still options. Let's now take a look at the future. Besides the new tram deliveries, Kraków seems to have a lot of plans for its future tram network. 2 sections are confirmed and currently under construction. The first one is the section from Kołowicza Górka to Górka Narodowa. The second one is the section that runs along Majstera Street from the crossing with Mogilska Street and ends up at the existing balloon loop at Mistrzejowice. But as you can see on the map of this screen, there are plenty of other extensions planned, but none of them became more than just a plan. So let's see what will become true in the future. And with that, we reach the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed the video about the tram network in Krakow. If you'd like to see more of my work in the future, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you very much for watching.